Hey YouTube, in this video I'm going to do a deck profile on my updated Murakumo deck. So I was getting a lot of requests for Nubatama, but unfortunately I tried to reply to some of these comments. But anyway, Nubatama for me, I missed out on the technical booster, so I don't have any of the new stuff. I never even got a play set of the Legion that they got with the Gear Chronicle trial deck. So my Nubatama deck is still my Break Ride deck that has the Stride, the Random Fighters Collection Stride stuff that they got. So that's basically the Nubatama deck. And on top of that, I didn't pull enough of the Nubatama Triple R and even the G Guardian for them. I think I only pulled like one of those cards each or something. Maybe two of the Triple R, grade 3, 4, and then yeah, so pretty bad, pretty unlucky on Nubatama. So I won't be able to do any Nubatama stuff anytime soon, but instead I will be focusing on Murakumo. So I went back to the drawing board with Murakumo, rebuilt the whole deck, looked at what they had, and thought what was the best Murakumo deck that I could build. So this is going to be like the best Murakumo deck that I came up with. So hope you guys enjoy this one. Those that like to play rogue decks like Murakumo, Spike Brothers, Nubatama, Mega Colony, stuff like that, will probably like this one. So this Murakumo plays kind of like Neo Nectar, only in a more different way. Like Neo Nectar can fill the whole field, and they're kind of just set, and then they're kind of sitting ducks if they're up against Kagero or someone, and then that guy, or like Link Joker or something, and they survive. So Murakumo, I tried to keep in mind how it's gonna go against those type of decks, and Murakumo actually has a pretty good matchup against defensive decks that are like Kagero, Link Joker, Gear Chronicle, all those type of things. So we'll get right into it. For me, the best build out there for Murakumo is actually Yasui. So yeah, the GB2, the Stride Focus Murakumos are the best way to go if you want to play competitive. There is the Magatsu Storm with the Legion Revival. That one's okay. I don't think that one has a very good finisher. Compared to what Yasui can do in the later game if you can't even stride. But yeah, I feel like Yasui is just really good. You want to try to... This deck focuses on him as much as it can. So he's your ideal ride target. So you want to stride as much as you can, basically. But in the event that you can't, the best backup, at least from the cards that I have available, is actually Yakivo Reverse. And Yakivo got a pretty good stride support in not the G Guardian Fires Collection, but the Winter's Fires Collection that came out prior to this one. So Yakivo, I feel, is the best backup. He's limit break. He can do stuff in late game. He has a pretty good stride unit that helps him out, and he's not GB restricted, so he can potentially rush the opponent down. There is a silly combo, cheesy combo, that I have from like back in the day when Yakivo Reverse was brand new, and I'll show that combo again here. But yeah, he's the best one. I mean, Shirayuki is okay, but I don't like her because this deck doesn't really need the defensive play that much. I wanted Murakumo to be more competitive, so I favored the aggressive Yakivo Reverse play over the Shirayuki defensive play. So Yakivo and Yasui is my grade 3 lineup. For grade 2, 4 Stealth Dragon Oboro Keeper. So this is the grade 2 double R that came out in the previous Fires Collection that is supposed to help Yakivo Reverse. So this helps, not only does it help Yakivo, it helps search you Stride fodder, because you can search a grade 3 at the end of the turn, and you send 2 of these back to the deck, so you can potentially Superior Call them again and use their stuff. They don't get retired, so you can dodge a lot of retire heavy decks and stuff like that. So I like them at 4. They're not GB restricted. Really nice. Next we have 4 Stealth Rogue of the Flowered Hat Fujino. So Fujino is a card that I kept either going between 3 copies or taking her out completely. Now I actually bumped her all the way up to 4 copies because I realized simultaneous calling with her. After my experience playing with Bloom and Neo Nectar, I realized Murakumo can do similar things, and these cards have actually been around longer than Bloom was a thing. So I like her. I bumped her all the way up to 4 because I realized she's not GB1 restricted, so she can actually do some pretty good stuff early. if you manage to get lucky and have a bunch of her in the opening hand, or you just keep drawing into her. And then the remaining grade 2 is 3 Runestar, Stealth Dragon Runestar. So he is their Amber clone. Originally I was running 4 of him and 3 Fujino, but then I realized Fujino is actually more useful, especially with some of the stride units that Murakumo has. So I dropped him to 3. He's GB1 restricted. But what I did like about him, and I still like this about him, is that his ability of him cloning himself, at the end of the turn, the clone goes to your hand instead of the bottom of the deck. And a lot of people seem to forget that. So that's very crucial, that it actually goes to your hand instead of going back to the deck. So I like that a lot. But by going to the hand, I realized that that does actually take a copy of him out of the deck, so you can't clone him as often. So I actually feel like 3 of him is fine in that sense, instead of the 4 copies. So that's the grade 2s. For grade 1s, I'm running 4 of the Stealth Beast White Heron. Protecting the rear guards is not too big of a deal, because oftentimes they'll go back into the deck anyway, and the deck can be counterblast heavy. Some of the stride units are counterblast 2. Yakivo's on-ride skill is counterblast 2. And Yasui uses counterblast on stride skill. So White Heron seems to be more ideal in here compared to the vanilla Perfect Guard. Next, another change from before is I am now running 4 Gateway Stealth Rogue Ataka. This is the stride enabler for Murakumo, and it's also the searcher for Yasui. The deck is focused on Yasui, so naturally you want to run 4 copies of this. Before I was running Yuna Yuki, the Limit Break, but that was back when I was running Yaki and Shirayuki, which is fine, but I feel like being able to stride just helps give Murakumo any sort of, it helps it keep pace with a lot of the popular decks now. So, and in playtesting it does do a whole lot better with this card. Next, another very important card for the grade 1 lineup is 4 Stealth Beast Charcoal Fox. This card can make a lot of plays and build a lot of numbers thanks to all the simultaneous calling ability. It's very much like the Bermuda Triangle Duo Lulu, but it's GB1 restricted. But it's when you can do some plays with this, it's pretty crazy. And then the last 2 cards are my 2 Stealth Beast Metamorphox from, they were the promos that came out with Brilliant Strike. They were the box toppers back when Minerva and Yakivo Reverse came out. And they're really good with Yakivo. So I've always used these 2 whenever I have a deck with Yakivo. And they just fit perfectly in here. And they can enable that play. So the combo basically is, if you've got Yaki, you call him. And this is the only reason why I was running Yuna Yuki instead of the Stride, because you could potentially do this at like 2 damage. You could already do this play. So literally you have 3 Yakis. You have a random rear guard like this. And another rear guard like this, right? So, or actually wait, no. So it's like this. I'm trying to remember the combo. So it's lock 2. Yeah, lock 2. All of them gain 10k, so it's 21, 21, 21. Then you call the Fox, you unlock 1. Then you activate his skill again, because it's not once per turn. So you lock these 2, and then it's 10, 10, 10. So it's 31, 31, 31. So 3 lanes with 31 each, and the deck does run 4 stand triggers, is pretty good, because then you'll swing 31, they'll have to do whatever. Then you swing 31, you get your twin drive, you get a stand trigger, then this thing is stands, and then you put power that's like 36. Or whatever, and then you do, you proceed to just do your attacks. So that's the old school combo that I wanted to keep that with this current build because I felt like it was pretty good. And also, Metamorphox is just a really nice tech choice against the matchup where you're up against Link Joker, where it's like Chaos tries to Omega Lock or force you to call something face down, and then you can just call this thing and unlock it anyway. So I like it at 2. It's a pretty nice tech choice, I think, for Murakumo. Make them even more immune to the effects of Link Joker, or the power of Link Joker. For the strides, like I said, I am running the 4. Heat and Scroll, really nice stand trigger for the deck. It enables you to be able to do a lot of plays. It helps a lot of the stride units. Then 4, Cat Devil. It's the Flame of Victory for Murakumo. 4 more critical, so 8 critical, 4 stand, 4 heal. And the starter is still Onifundo. Works really nice with Yasui. It can also work pretty decently with Yakivo because it can call something out. You can call back down, use it again, or whatever. But what I really like about this card is that it combos very nicely with the new stride unit that they got, the Ambush Demon, Stealth Dragon, Onibibu Radar. So this guy, what I've often found myself doing is striding, using his effect to call something down, and then I can use. So yeah, you can call something down, use Yasui's on-stride skill to clone that card up to 2 copies, and then this can go off to bounce it back to the hand, call something else. So on subsequent turn, if you stride him again, that's why I'm running 2 copies. If you stride him a second time, this usually will be in my hand, so I can use this to call this down. Then I can use Yasui to clone one of my other rearguards that's already on the field, and then I can use this again to call another card down. Or I may not even use Yasui's on-stride skill, but it just opens up a lot of plays. These 2 cards together is really nice, so I like this starter with the new stride unit. Next really good stride unit in the deck is Kagami Jishi, or something like that. He's pretty nice. He works really well with Fujino. That's why I'm running 4 copies, because I realized how well those 2 cards work together. He allows you to attack from back row with the unit. Very nice with Yasui's on-stride skill as well. So yeah, lots of interesting combos with him. Then 2 of the train, the Doom train, but in playtesting recently, I find myself striding these guys a lot more than I ever stride that thing. That's their on-hit, so you're not going to use them that much. 2 Ambush Demon Stealth Dragon Homura Raider. So this guy came out last year. He is the restander for Murakumo. He's restanding stride. He's not that easy to pull off, honestly, and the deck is very counterblast heavy, and he's counterblast 2, and unflip 1 of him. So you don't really call him, you don't really use him that much. So, I mean, now that there's 16 limit, you can, yeah, potentially run 4 copies of him, and probably, like, take out the train, but I've never had to stride him. I've never been in a game where I've felt like I needed to stride him a second time after I already was able to use him. So I find myself either going into these guys, especially this guy, because he can be pretty good. But yeah, that's pretty much a one-time deal. Next, 2 Shirayuki. She's very situational in this deck, but she can be used just to clone a grade 3, basically Yasui or Yakivo, to get a big attack in that turn. But yeah, 2 of her is probably kind of an overkill. Probably only need 1 of her. So if I wanted to make it more optimal, I'd probably run maybe 4 of this guy, no train, 1 of this, 3 of this. But yeah, maybe that would be probably some of the things I could probably consider changing. But unfortunately, these are like all the cards I have. And then Yakivo, Stride, Ambush, Demon, Stealth Dragon, Yakivo, Nayuda. This is nice, obviously, if you ride into Yakivo and you're going to be sitting on him for that game. This is just a nice support card that he got. Kind of like with my No Seal in Angel Feathers. No Seal, if you ride No Seal, then you're going to be able to use the No Seal Stride. Same deal here. And then for the G-Guardian stuff, I am running 2 of the Ambush, Demon, Stealth Fiend, Hogan Wing. I only pulled 2 of these out of 4 boxes, so only 2 boxes had a copy of this each, but I like this one a lot more than the Shadow Paladin one because it does not permanently retire the rearguard that it used. So basically, what he does is, let's say you have a grade 1 or a grade 2, or any grade 1 or higher on the field as a rearguard. When you G-Guardian stride this thing, or U-Guardian, whatever this G-Guardian, you call this into Guardian Circle. You can then select this card, clone it from the deck, so then this comes from the deck, and this one's still sitting on the field. Then at the end of the turn, so basically that's how he gets his 20k block. Then at the end, the card that was used to G-Guard goes to the bottom of the deck instead of the drop zone. So that's just a lot better than the Shadow Paladin one. So I like it a lot. But I only have 2 of it. So the last 2 spots go to, as you would expect, 1 Desmel and 1 Scryu. So Scryu is good in late game if you just need a really big block to block an attack. And Desmel, I mean, Scryu is pretty nice against Diablo, I would say, because this is what, well, I mean, it's still, you would need to use this and another G-Guardian, because it's still not going to be enough, but yeah, he's pretty good against a lot of things later in the game. So yeah, these are my 4 G-Guardians I'm running. Desmel just for whatever, but usually you don't really need them too much because you'll have a lot of no interceptors in your games or on your field. So that's basically it, guys. Hope you enjoyed that Murakumo deck profile. Let me know what you guys think with how Murakumo stacks up to the competition, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks.